Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a Sacred Union Energy update for the weekend. Just to let you guys know, this might be a little bit of a heavier reading. I did decide to do this reading. Things feel a little bit intense right now, a little bit heavy. I'm going to go into a little bit of that right now. So, for the most part, I have personally been feeling good. Been feeling balanced, been feeling steady within myself. This morning I woke up and I was feeling very emotional. Now, the emotion was coming from a place of love. If you checked out my readings on Instagram and Facebook, you know that the divine counterparts were feeling love. A lot of love, a lot of nostalgia. It was very positive energy. That shifted over the past few hours where it just feels like a pressure cooker. It feels like, okay, I'll be honest with you guys. It feels like what I'm hearing is I can't do this, I can't do this, I don't want to do this, I don't want to be here anymore. It feels like this planet is too much. Now, my own heart has been hurting, not for divine counterparts, not for my divine counterpart, but for the world as a whole. For my friends in Australia, the wildlife in Australia, for everything going on in the Middle East, for just everything as a planet, all the pain. If that's what it feels like as an empath, this happens. As a light worker, this happens. It just feels like we're taking on the weight of the world. And it feels like it's too much. What's interesting about this energy is I haven't felt that since that I don't want to be here, I can't do this, why did I come here, why did I volunteer here? I haven't felt that in many, many years since I was sick. And I'm not actually feeling that now. This is the merging of the energies. It almost feels like this is that we're either picking up on collective energies of the world, of the planet, or this is divine masculine that we're picking up on, or divine masculines, if you're feeling the same way that I am. If you're balanced and you're feeling good, this might be a video to skip because I'm going to see what's going on here. It's very strange. It's like I'm having these emotions. I've been crying all day. I'm feeling the emotions, but I'm very at peace. I'm very balanced within myself. And it's like I'm having these thoughts, but they're not my thoughts. That's that telepathy. And I don't know if I'm actually tapping into the collective energies because it just feels like it's everything in the world. It just feels like the planet as a whole. Or if we're tapping into divine masculine energies because it does feel like there's a very trapped feeling within the divine masculine collective. So I hope that's making sense. It doesn't quite feel like I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling stable. I'm feeling steady. I'm getting my work done, which I will talk about in a little bit, possibly even next week. But there's so much emotion here. And it's almost like there's a divide. It's like I'm feeling the emotion, I'm crying, I'm transmuting, I'm feeling the pain, but I'm also very detached from the pain. That's how it feels like it's not entirely mine because of that detachment. So I'm gonna look into the energies and see what exactly is going on here. Just to let you guys know, I did fully update and redesign my website. We have new pricing for 2020. I'm going to be honoring the old pricing, which is $10 off most of the spreads, up until Monday, January 6th. So make sure that if you're interested, if you want me to read for you and tap into your own personal energies and situation, that you book now for going into next week. But we have a whole new redesign, new offerings, which I will talk about possibly on a live stream next week. But they are available on the website. I'm doing past life readings. I have email readings and the $5 one card pull that proved pretty popular with you guys. If you want a specific message, just a quick channeled message, I'm offering that as well. So make sure that you do check out the website. Very, very excited about that. And I am also having mini readings up almost every day on Facebook and Instagram. So make sure you join both platforms, both communities there as well. Patreon subscribers, I haven't forgotten about you. You will have a romance reading going up as soon as I figure out what is going on here with these emotions and these energies. And we'll be back with the daily energy draws next week as well. And I'll have an extended reading for Patreon subscribers as well for any upcoming Sacred Union readings. But now we're just going to do a quick check-in and see what the hell is going on, because this energy, Spirit, what's going on with this energy? What is this? What is this? It's I just heard it's a desperation to speak your truth. Yeah, this is, okay. This does feel like divine masculine energy. That's interesting. I'm going to take these and this one. Okay. This does feel like divine masculine energy, and I'm going to read these in a second, where they are feeling their emotions. They are tapping into their feminine energy and feeling their emotions, feeling the full force of their emotions. With the Knight of Swords over here, it feels like they're feeling everything, just like we are. And it feels like it's overwhelming. You see the world in his hand? It feels like it's almost like the weight of the world. Because of this tapping into these emotions here. The heart chakra, you see the green there of the heart chakra? It feels like they're wanting to take action, they're wanting to come forward, they're wanting to express themselves, but it's almost like I'm hearing that the patriarchy is still kind of weighing them down. The old conditioning, the old patterning of the masculine energy needs to be more stoic. The masculine energy isn't meant to express themselves. The masculine energy shouldn't be feeling all these feelings. That old programming is kind of rearing its head right now. So even though they're trying to break free, like trying to step through the doorway, trying to make a decision to go forward, wanting to express themselves, and in wanting to express themselves with the sacral chakra energy here with the yellow, it's like wanting to express themselves in their full power. This feels almost like ego. This, and not ego as in their own individual ego, but this feels like ego of societal conditioning. Fear that's blocking them. What's interesting is I don't keep my decks. I keep my decks upright because I don't read reversals. I don't need to. The way that I read, I am an intuitive reader. I don't read traditionally. I read based on the energies and what Spirit is giving me. However, these two cards were in reverse. They feel like they can't go anywhere. They feel like they can't take action. They feel like they can't speak up. They feel very trapped right now. And it is causing them to be in distorted masculine energy, but it's not distorted masculine energy as in, this feels very worldly, this feels very planetary, this feels very collective, and not just collective for counterparts, but collective as in the entire world. That's what I mean by planetary, that's what I mean by worldly. It's like they're going back within and hiding behind the armor here, hiding behind that stoic facade. The emperor can sometimes be, in the distorted masculine energy, can sometimes be very cold, very stubborn, very stoic, not revealing his emotions. And so it's almost like we have two energies that are battling with each other. Here, they're in their feminine energy. They're feeling everything, wanting to express themselves, wanting to move forward, taking decisive action to move forward. But they're feeling the weight of everything right now, where they are just it feels like they're trapped, like they can't move towards the new beginning that they want. We're gonna get guidance. We're gonna get guidance here. I wanna get some guidance for you guys as well, because if you're feeling this, divine feminines, this is your divine masculine. Yeah, we have the Knight of Wands here, the Ten of Cups, but you guys, there's that conflict. I gotta tell you, it feels like this is what they want so dearly, so desperately. This is what they're moving towards, and this is what they had been moving towards, is what they're saying. Spirit is saying that they were making these steps towards this, but it's like almost like dark forces or interference or ego got in the way, and it's just weighing them down. And now it's like they're battling between the two extremes. They're battling between their feminine and masculine energies. Now, I did see the Two of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck before, and the message that I'm getting now is that they're learning how to balance their masculine and feminine energies. They're learning how to remain steadfast, just like you, Divine Feminines, have remained steadfast in your emotions, in your power. That's what the Divine Masculine is learning to do, because they have been dissolving the ego, learning to discern between ego and intuition. And now they're learning to trust their intuition and their heart, and to follow that, to let that lead them from a place of masculine energy, divine masculine energy, which is leadership, which is taking control, and a very authoritative, warm energy, but balancing that feminine energy where they're also allowing themselves to be led from the heart, not listening so much to the ego, not listening to the fear, not listening to the toxicity, not listening to the patterns and the habits and the addictions, that toxic devil energy that they have been trapped in. They're not listening to the matrix. They're not listening to the 3D paradigm, what the world is telling them. They're listening to their own heart. But it's like there's pressure from the outside world that is just, it's like it's just weighing on them. It's just pounding on them. And so it's almost, it's a feeling of, I don't know how to keep going, because I've been making steps and making steps towards my 10 of Cups, towards my Divine Feminine, towards taking decisive action for my life, and trusting my heart and trusting my passions, allowing myself to feel passionate, perhaps even for the first time, and dream about my 10 of Cups, to want to manifest. But it's like every time I do, this is what comes in, this battle. But Spirit is saying that the battle is coming to an end. It's because it was an internal battle that was just rearing its head in the physical world. It's amazing. We have all these beautiful cards, but there's such a heavy energy surrounding it. Just like in today's Instagram and Facebook reading, they're feeling nostalgic. They're remembering happier times. That is what is pushing them forward. But there's this energy, there's this energy of destruction. There's this energy of an ending. There's this energy of, if I collapse, am I going to be able to pick myself up and move on? But what the Divine Masculine needs to remember, and this is turning into a Divine Masculine reading, so we're going to call it that. What the Divine Masculine does need to remember is that this is transformation. And sometimes it does take a crumbling. Sometimes it does take a shakeup, a tower moment. Sometimes it does take an ending to be reborn. They're just pointing me to the towers in the background here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Sometimes it takes a foundation crumbling in order for this rebirth to take shape. And so Divine Masculine might be looking back on the past with a lot of regret and a lot of remorse, saying things were better then. Why? It's almost a feeling of, why did I let it get to this point? I could have been more grateful. I could have been more appreciative. I could have seen the blessings. I could have seen what I had. But there's this feeling of destruction. Either they just feel like they destroyed it, or the universe came in with a tower moment and crumbled their foundation. But it was what was meant to happen, because the path that they were going on, and I'll link it below, the past Divine Masculine reading, the path that they were going down was destructive. It was destructive to them. But they were holding on out of control. They were holding on out of fear, out of resistance, out of stubbornness, that distorted masculine energy. And so the universe is coming in and shaking them up. And part of that shakeup, it feels like they're feeling the pressure of the world. It's like their entire world. And it's interesting that that's what I'm feeling. It feels like the entire world is falling apart, like the entire world is burning. And it is, even now, I'm feeling so incredibly emotional. That's what, on a macro scale, but on a micro scale, that's what the Divine Masculine is feeling. The divine masculine is feeling like my entire world is falling apart. My entire world is burning to the ground. But it needs to. It needs to have that fresh start. You see how there are two children here, this innocence? To have this fresh start and return to innocence. The old self, the old them, all that toxicity has to be burned away. They have to shed that old skin and come back to their inner child, which leads from the heart, which leads from a place of innocence, which leads from a place of purity and love, without addictions and habits and patterns and social conditioning, false beliefs that they had growing up, that they weren't good enough, or they weren't worth it, or that they couldn't believe in love, or they didn't have a happily ever after, that they weren't deserving of that they weren't deserving of you, Divine Feminine. That's all being burned away, and it's creating a conflict within them, kind of an imbalance within them, because it feels very much like destruction. It feels very much like an ending. So much compassion for Divine Masculines, yeah. And this is the second time the Queen of Cups is on the bottom. This is their emotions. They are in their emotions. They are in their Divine Feminine energy at the current moment. Sun on the bottom of the deck. There might be a message there later. It feels like there's something, but I'm gonna hold on to that. So we have the Magician and the Two of Cups. This is them. From the destruction comes a rebirth. The Magician is the one card. It's not the Fool. The Fool is that 0 card. The Fool is that brand new beginning. It's a 0 point, a fresh start, a clean slate. After taking that leap of faith, here comes the Magician, knowing that I have the power to continue on this journey, this next phase of my journey, that I have the power to manifest, that I have all the tools that I need, that I can be in Divine Masculine energy, taking control of my life. The Magician is very much in control. And in the distorted energy, the Magician can be a little bit manipulative. Manipulating the elements is what they're saying. And take that as a metaphor. Manipulating the elements as in the elements of your life. People, places, things, career, things like that. But in the Divine Masculine energy, they're in control. They have all the tools. And this is a control that isn't distorted. This is a control that isn't manipulative. This is a control that is not corrupt. This is a control that is confident, that is self-assured, that has been through the fire and has come out stronger. The phoenix rising from the ashes. This Magician is almost like the counterpart to the High Priestess. The Magician has wisdom, and he knows how to alchemize the elements. He knows how to transmute. He knows his power. He knows that higher perspective, the soul's perspective now. He has that awareness. It's almost like High Priest, High Priestess energy here. He has the wand, which is taking action. And also that spiritual awakening, they're saying. He has that cup filled with emotion, but he's balanced in his emotions. He has the pentacle, which is very grounded, stable, bringing it down into the 3D. And he has that sword, speaking his truth with authority, standing his ground, setting his boundaries. You see these butterflies here? This is the transformation they have gone through. I always laugh at this card because it reminds me of Matthew McConaughey. They're pointing me to the lilies here. They remind me of peace lilies. Having gone through the destruction, having gone through that war, that internal war, what comes but peace? And what comes with peace but personal power? And again, it's not corruption. It's not manipulation. It's not that control, that patriarchal power. We're not talking about that. This is divine power. This is the power over self. This is recognizing your soul. This is recognizing your divinity. This is recognizing the truth of who you are, living in that light, living in that love, no longer letting those dark forces win because you're not focused on that anymore. Yes, acknowledging that that exists. Yes, acknowledging that this is where we've been. But now it's time to manifest a better and brighter future. Now it's time to revert back to the innocence of love. And yes, there is fear here because this can be scary. Sorry about that. So, yes, there's fear there. It's an overwhelming sense of pressure. And there's an overwhelming sense of fear because it feels like there's destruction, complete destruction within, and possibly even complete destruction without. But that is the old foundation being torn down. And now, what they're transforming into, quieting the mind, quieting the ego, listening to the heart. What are they understanding? But that they're not alone, that they have you and your love and their love for you to help guide them through this, that they're not alone. And look, we have two counterparts here. We have the Empress and the Emperor, divine counterparts. This is that sacred union energy. This is understanding that they've never been alone, that they're not alone, and also balancing out the energies within them, like we were talking about in the very beginning, but also in a physical relationship. Let's see if there's anything else. Spirit is saying they're going to stabilize themselves, possibly even speak to you. There's the Lovers at the bottom of the deck. Possibly even speak to you. This is that higher level love. They're understanding not just on the physical, but they're understanding from the higher perspective. And they're going to get more grounded. They're going to get more grounded, and they're going to share their experiences and speak their truth. I'm just pointing to the colors here. We have the green of the heart chakra and the yellow again of the solar plexus chakra. Remember how we started with that? They're feeling all the emotions, but what this is actually going to do by them stepping into their divine feminine energy, well, their feminine energy, by them stepping into that, they're feeling all their emotions, but that is actually building them up and giving them strength. By them feeling through the emotions, they're going to become more stable, they're going to become more grounded, and they're going to be able to express themselves now. Remember in the beginning we said that they were unable to speak their truth, they felt very trapped, they felt very confined. Now they're going to be in that king energy where they're not going to worry about what anybody else thinks or says or does. They're going to speak their truth authentically, expressively, sincerely, decisively, and from a very nurturing, grounded manner, the balancing of the feminine and the masculine energies. They're going to become more balanced now. All right, this is just a quick update to see what the heck was going on, but let's get some guidance. We'll be back. I was going to do a sacred union update for the collective this weekend, but again, these energies are just so intense and so heavy. So we will be back next week and do a full reading for the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine. So do stay tuned for that. Or check out the readings on Instagram and Facebook, or the past readings that we just did on the channel, because those are still resonating. We're still in that energy from the most recent readings here on YouTube. So make sure that you check those out as well if you haven't already. Okay, guidance for the Divine Masculine, please. Guidance for the Divine Masculine. And Divine Feminines, take this as your guidance as well, because you're feeling this energy as well. We have trust your intuition. This is stepping into that feminine energy, trusting the heart, letting the heart guide, letting the heart lead. Not being caught up in this entrapment, this mental entrapment, this conflict, this feeling of interference or dark forces around, not feeling caught up in ego, in fear and uncertainty, trusting, learning how to discern between the ego and the heart, the ego and the intuition, and learning how to trust that and follow that to wherever it is that you're guided. Because the the intuition, that is your soul that is speaking. Remember, what are we talking about? Remember that fear and love cannot coexist. Fear is ego. Your intuition speaks from a place of love, and ego is the illusion. Love is what is real. Love is what is true. Let's get one more. We have meditate and don't lose your faith in the situation. And bottom of the deck, you'll be okay. You will be okay. You will come out of this stronger, much better. Don't forget to go inside, feel in your heart space. If you're not doing regular meditations, guided meditations, but this is really an energy of trusting in yourself, listening to your spirit team, quieting the mind, which is what meditation is all about, and not losing faith, because truly, truly, you are being supported. You will be okay. All right, you guys, I'm sending you so much love, so much light, and we'll see you soon.